Of the 7 unique status effects in the lands between, 2 of them will cause damage over time: poison, and of course Scarlet Rot. These 2 ailments apply a deadly debuff that lingers for long durations, and although some incantations and the Speckled Hard tier can cure them, the best option available to all Tarnished is definitely Boluses. In this guide, I'll cover neutralizing Boluses and preserving Boluses, showing a spot to grab 5 quickly, as well as where to get the cookbooks associated with crafting them yourself. And for those of you that want to watch each segment in full, I'll also cover the best places to farm the materials needed to craft both Boluses. Greetings fellow Tarnished, I'm StoneBear13. Let's dive into some cures everyone can use. Found throughout the lands between, poison can be contracted from many sources. So of course we'll start off with neutralizing Boluses. These will cure you of all poison buildup as well as any active poison debuffs. However, if you've caused your clothes to be covered, you will still accrue buildup after using these. Now as for our 5 fast pickups, we'll head to the southwest of Limgrave, just outside the coastal cave. Following the beach, we'll find a nomadic merchant underneath some ruins. Within his stock, there'll be 5 neutralizing Boluses for purchase. Lucky for us, on top of the 5 Boluses, he'll also sell the Armorer's Cookbook too, which allows us to craft some fire-based ammunition as well as neutralizing Boluses. Crafting these Boluses will cost 1 Herba, 1 Cave Moss, and 1 Great Dragonfly Head. Herba can be found on the ground, scattered all throughout Limgrave, the Weeping Peninsula, and Liurnia of the Lakes. To farm Herba, the easiest place to go is the Mistwood outskirts Site of Grace in East Limgrave. Head directly southwest, off the rocks, and through the woods. Nearby some bears, we can find 3 plants waiting for us. Once picked, just fast travel back to the Site of Grace, and repeat as needed. Next we have Cave Moss, which can be found primarily inside Coastal Cave in Limgrave, and Lakeside Crystal Cave within Liurnia, both of which make great farming locations for these as they hold 6 nodes each. If you're of level, Lakeside Crystal Cave is a bit better, as all 6 nodes are within the same general area, very close to the Site of Grace. The final material required is a Great Dragonfly Head. We can actually find a stack of 5 of these in Liurnia, resting on a corpse in a graveyard just southeast of the Artishak Site of Grace. However, to farm these, our best options to head over to Caelid, to the Heart of Aeonia's Site of Grace. Directly east, over the Rot Mushroom Cluster, we can find 6 Great Dragonflies. These guys have a 75% chance to drop their heads, but you can always boost that with the Silver Scarab Talisman or the Silver Pickled Fowlfoot. The last thing I want to mention regarding the neutralizing Boluses is that you can gain the ability to buy them permanently at the Twin Maiden Husks for 1200 runes apiece, by offering them the Medicine Peddler's Bell Bearing. This can be obtained by defeating the Bell Bearing Hunter found in Altus Plateau. Head over to the Hermit Merchant Shack Site of Grace and rest until nightfall. For some reason, this boss is a bit buggy and requires you to stand up and rest again in order to trigger. After your second time sitting, make your way inside the shack to spawn this challenging foe. Scarlet Rot is the most highlighted status debuff in all the lands between. Having entire quest lines and lore revolving around its presence and effects, our cure to this potent affliction will be the preserving Boluses. These will cleanse you of the powerful debuff as well as all Scarlet Rot buildup. Similar to neutralizing Boluses, if you're covered in rot, expect additional buildup. To find 5 of these quickly, we can head over to the Rot View Balcony Site of Grace. Looking southwest, we can see the Shack of Rotting. Inside, we have 1 tall Rot Boy and 5 preserving Boluses to loot off of a corpse. In order to craft these for ourselves, we'll head underground to the Schiefer River Bank Site of Grace. Going up the nearby rocks, we can see 2 ancestral followers near a ledge to the west. Resting close by on a corpse, we can find the Armorer's Cookbook 6. Crafting preserving Boluses will require 2 Dewkissed Herba, 1 Crystal Cave Moss, and 1 Sacramental Bud apiece. Dewkissed Herba is the most abundant of the materials, being easily found throughout Schiefer River, Mogwin Palace, and Deeproot Depths. and there are actually two fantastic spots to farm these. The first is found at the Schiefer River Bank Site of Grace. Following the loop I'm showing on screen, we can snag 14 nodes worth of materials before simply resting back at the Site of Grace and looping through again. The second will be in Mogwin Palace, at the Dynasty Mausoleum entrance Site of Grace. Dropping off the ledge to the northwest, we can follow this loop, which also avoids all enemies in the area, to find another 15 nodes very quickly. Our second material will be Crystal Cave Moss, which can be found in a handful of caves within Liurnia, Caelid, and Altus Plateau. Best place to farm these will be at the Academy Crystal Cave within Liurnia of the Lakes. From the Grace, we can grab all 9 Crystal Cave Moss nodes this dungeon has to offer in a very short amount of time, with some combat against a few spellcasters required to grab the last 4. The final material required to craft Preserving Boluses is a Sacramental Bud. Unlike every other material discussed, this does not respawn from resting at a Site of Grace or fast traveling. We can usually find these in large clusters between 2 zones. In Caelid, we have 16 scattered around the Church of the Plague, with 7 inside and 9 around the graveyard nearby. And within Altus Plateau, there's 10 within the hovel to the northwest of the Altus Highway Junction Site of Grace, 11 to find around the Writhe-Blood Ruins, and another 30 scattered across all of Mount Gelmir. As for farming these, it'll be a bit tricky as the most efficient drop rate is a measly 3% from Blistered Strays, specifically found at Writhe-Blood Ruins. Unfortunately, the closest Site of Grace is the Bridge of Iniquity, so you will have to run to the ruins each time. Scattered in and around the ruins, we can find 9 of these enemies. I found the easiest way to go about farming them is to stay on Torrent and try to get as many as you can to follow, then farm them off in an area behind a ruin away from most of the slimes, so you can fast travel back quickly if need be. Well, that's all I have for you on the Neutralizing and Preserving Boluses. If this video has helped you out, leave a like, and comment down below if there's any guides you'd like to see me make in the future. And don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up to date with all of my Elden Ring content. Once again, I'm StoneBear13, and thanks for watching.